Welcome back to the Box Office Dynasty. I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm your other host, Jack.
That's right, there's two of us. You thought there was one. If you've never been here before, I didn't set up Jack, so you thought there was only me.
There
you
might
think
be
you think I could yap for 2 hours by myself? The answer?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, I could. If Jack wasn't here, we'd carry on like no problem. But
there might be a secret third host that you guys don't know about.
That's true. There's actually like 6 or 7 of us on rotation.
He's under Josh's desk, topping him off right now.
He, as in one, or
well,
they, as in multiple. There are many under the desk right now. That's why I said 6 or 7.
Okay, Freak Bob.
Freak
Did
Bob.
you make a 6-7 joke?
No, you just
Damn,
made a
dude.
6-7 joke.
I didn't. You said 6 or 7, and that's gonna. I feel like.
And then
that's
you
asking
pointed
for it.
Okay. You know what everyone's asking for? The episode. And this is what we have for you today. We're going to go over the box office numbers because that's what we do here. Then we're going to talk about a couple of films that are out in theaters this month. The Smashing Machine, the first one. Good Boy, the other. Very exciting stuff. It is October, so some spooky stuff. Speaking of which, I'm going to talk a bit about my thoughts regarding Alien Earth. I finally finished it, the new series in that franchise. Then we're going to talk about some trailers as well in some spooky realms. A franchise that may be on the brink of life or death, and then play a game to end this off. So a lot of fun today. I'm feeling the vibes, Jack.
This is going to be a spooky episode. I'm only just realizing after you said that, I was like, wait, all this stuff is kind of spooky.
And that's kind of what I wanted. Like, even last week, I was teasing it a little bit at the end in my seesaw. Like, it is October now, which is funny because that episode came out on October 1st. So we were talking about it like it was upcoming.
Yeah,
but
this is
it
our
really
first time
was
filming in October.
Yeah, this is our first time filming. We are now deep into October a bit. 6 days as of filming, but when this comes out, 8 days into October. So, I mean, it's flying by. And I just want to say while we're here, kind of talking about the months, is it just me or is January the slowest month of the year? Like, it goes by for eternity, and then each month gets faster and faster and faster than the one before until you get to like the Burr months, and I feel like these just fly by.
The Burr months go so fast, and I think the summer does too, but it's not because of anything besides the fact that it's just the summer, like you're just enjoying the summer. Like, nobody has a good time in September unless it's like your birthday or something.
Well, September's a weird month. I mean, there's not a lot going on, but in terms of, I guess, weather, like, it's not as intensely hot, so you're like cooling down, getting ready for the fall.
That's what you think.
I mean,
it's like 80 degrees today. It's insane.
Yeah, well, yeah.
What is happening? I mean, we know what's happening, but it's 80 degrees. Summer is trying to take over. It won't let us go. I'm kind of sick of it.
Yeah.
You had your chance for 3 months, Summer. Get over it. There's no fucking way you brought a prop. A prop
that
whistle.
Wasn't planned. Okay. It was staring at me. It's like it's been my green goblin mask staring at me.
I can't say I condone that kind of behavior.
I want you to guess where I got that. First of all, I don't know if that's going to come up on the microphone because I'm sure it will, but like when I was on Discord with some friends, I was trying to like fuck around with it and they couldn't hear it at all, and I was like, oh great, all right, I just sound stupid.
You sound like a dumbass.
But you heard it, so hopefully it came up, and I want you to guess real quick where you think I got that.
Well, I know you definitely frequent Spencer's to get all your little gadgets and gizmos, so probably Spencer's Toys.
No,
imagine.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that's what you bought that in a dildo.
Yeah, well, just your average Tuesday shopping. No, I got this at the house that Abraham Lincoln died in. There's a gift shop, and they sell slide whistles.
Did he love slide whistles? Did he get killed by a slide whistle and it's not really John Wilkes Booth?
I don't know, but I don't know what that had to do. Like, I was looking around the gift shop. I was like, yeah, whatever. We couldn't even go to Ford's Theater because did you know they still do shows there? That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I think I heard that. Also, wait, so he was alive? Like, did he? I mean, he got his head fucking blown smooth off. Like, He lived, and then he got sent to a house, and then he died?
The bro, are you serious? Aren't you supposed to be the history guy? You're
I don't
asking me
study the
this?
one guy's death. I don't give a fuck how he died. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, he was shot in Ford Cedar. They carried him
Yeah.
across the street to a house,
But
and
I
then
just assumed he was
and then
already
he
dead.
died. No, he was dying. He died there.
I just assumed, a gunshot to the back of the neck is gonna do it for you.
Yeah. Well, and I guess Abe
Hey,
had a little left
he
kick
was a
in him.
wrestler, so
You
maybe
know,
he wrestled that bullet.
you know that, but you don't know that he died in the house across the street from the theater.
Yep.
Selective history.
Yeah. They're not teaching in our schools. Selective
Anyway,
history.
this is derailed a bit. All I
Oh
wanted
yeah.
to do was show off the slide whistle, um, which is very funny and whimsical.
Yeah, it is.
And it wasn't planned for that moment. It wasn't like it was just I brought it and I was like, you know what, maybe it'll come in handy. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm forcing it in. So,
And you forced it into the global warming segment we had about how it's hot.
yeah, very well timed, might
Yeah, it
I
was great.
add. It is very hot out,
Yeah.
so Anyway, um, fuck it. You had something you wanted to talk about.
But yeah. Okay, so did you hear about the Wonder Man news?
I, nope, I have no idea, honestly. I mean, I know it comes out in a couple months, but
That's the that's it. There is no Wonder Man news.
what?
It comes out in 2 months. They're not making this fucking show.
I mean, we've seen stills from it. I remember there were like some stills that came out.
No trailer, no description, no hype for it at all. I'm almost convinced that this show is either going to push back another 6 months to a year, or we're never getting it. He's not confirmed to be in any of the future movies. What's happening?
I mean, I got to be honest with you, and I guess this goes in part of the marketing. I haven't ever thought about it. I probably am not going to even watch it. This is kind of similar to what I was talking about with Ironheart a little bit too, where it's like, no disrespect, it could be a good show. It's not that I'm saying it isn't. It's that I've lost interest in keeping up with like the homework of every little Marvel thing, and some of these shows just aren't like I've tried to, and a lot of them I haven't enjoyed, and like there's just so many other shows out there I'd rather watch personally, and so I look at something like this, and again, part of it is on them for not giving me enough. I mean, they did it to Ironheart
100%.
too. They barely did any marketing or support for that advertising as it was leading up to its coming out. They did like one poster, and it finally got a trailer, I think, like a couple weeks before it came out
Yeah, it was
or
like 2
something.
weeks beforehand.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if Wonder Man gets the same treatment. And to be honest, from my personal perspective, either way, I have very little interest in it. And you could probably blame a good part of that on Marvel for not backing their show with enough confidence and support to hype up fans who have a foot out the door.
Yeah, that is my point, is that there's no interest in this whatsoever. What's the point of even pushing it out if it's just going to act like it's being shelved anyway? So I'm basically here to just remind people that there is a TV show called Wonder Man that's supposed to come out in 2 months, because Marvel's not doing their job at reminding people. And I think at this point, no news is kind of news on how they feel about it, which is what we talked about with Ironheart. There's no confidence in it. It seems like they almost don't want people to watch it. Like, why are you not pushing people to watch it and be excited for something? It's your own project. It's just very strange, and Marvel is starting to have a track record of doing that.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And it's disappointing on their end. Especially because like, putting it out there, like these are two shows that are, led by they're black led shows, they're black cast shows, like they're trying to support diverse characters.
Yeah, I didn't even
And
connect that. Wow. Yeah, you're
like
right. You're totally right.
my interest is more about I don't know these characters, and I've tried to watch shows of characters I don't know from them in the past, and they've just not been produced very well. But it disheartens me because they have, at least in the past, Marvel has kind of put a lot of advertising for some of those shows, and then you have these, and they claim they're all about diverse characters and diverse heroes, and yet they don't seem to really put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
Oh, just disappointing. I think it is worth noting since you want to bring it up. And I think props to you, Jack. Actually, I never really thought of it that way. If they're not going to promote the show, somebody ought to. Might
I'll
as
do
well
my
be
best,
us.
you know?
So, that's a fair point. Marvel, you should do better.
Yeah, that's really the message.
I wanted to say, if you heard about this new announcement, I literally saw this today as of recording. Damien Chazelle, who is the filmmaker that made Whiplash, La La Land, and oh my god, dude,
Hey,
I'm
bro, take
having
a sip of water, dude.
yeah. Hold on,
Hold on, water break.
let's get some sponsors in for the water
Yeah,
break.
yeah, we got our sponsors in. We are sponsored by Poland Spring. No, I'm just kidding. That's vodka in that bottle.
Dude, you guys
That's
do
straight
not know.
tequila.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I was like faking a cough? And it's just like just to take a swig, like ooh.
Yeah. When are we doing a just hammered episode?
Actually, kind of down. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Think it would be so entertaining.
It'd be hilarious.
Not even opposed. Like a New Year's, just get fucking hammered.
That would be so funny.
All right. Me. I'm ready. Damien Chazelle, the filmmaker behind Whiplash, La La Land, and Babylon. You know, some honestly, three of my favorite movies of the 21st century.
Wow. Okay.
To
I
be
didn't know you
honest.
love Babylon like that.
Dude, Babylon Truthers, I know you guys are out there, okay? That movie is incredible. It did not get the respect it deserved. It is, I
Yeah.
think, one of the great films of the 21st century to this point. I would rank it in my top 10.
Wow. Okay, that is big praise. All right.
Yeah. Or at least like probably, I mean, not like not top 5. It would be fringe top 10, but it's there. Like it's in the conversation. I know the truthers are out there. Anyway, his next film, I don't even have a name for it. I didn't see one, but apparently it's a prison set story with Cillian Murphy and Daniel Craig attached to star.
What do you mean by prison set story? It's literally just in a prison.
That's what we got.
That's all we got?
That's what I'm bringing to the table.
I do love a prison set story.
It was confirmed by the composer, his frequent collaborator Justin Hurwitz, who called it, quote, the best script he's ever read.
What's this guy's credentials? What does he do?
He's the composer that worked on Whiplash and La La Land, and I think Babylon. I think he was there for all three. He's the frequent collaborator with Chazelle, and for what it's worth, First Man too, the space movie with Ryan Gosling.
Damn, dude. I love Cillian Murphy. I love Daniel Craig. I can't see anything wrong with it so far, so works for me.
You don't seem to be the same Babylon truther that I am, but
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Babylon.
But what about Whiplash and La La Land? There you go.
Love Whiplash. La La Land was pretty good.
All right, we're not getting into it right now.
Huge
but anyway,
hot take that I argued with my girlfriend about for like 25 minutes.
What does she think about your Get Out take?
She doesn't agree with it, but she understands it. She's not going to argue with me about that, but she did argue with me about La La Land.
Probably argue with you about a lot of your takes.
We need to have like a hot takes episode where you and I just go over our hot takes and just argue the entire time.
I think that would be the end of the podcast.
Because you got some shit that I probably disagree with too, that most people would, but you're just hiding it. You're just hiding it like a little sneaky bitch. Yeah, dude, you're conniving.
I am conniving, but I feel like two things with that. One, my hot takes I feel like are much like a lot less mainstream of hot takes in like mainstream kind of hot takes.
Well, you liking Babylon is probably a hot take.
I don't know if me liking it is a hot take. I think I think
it.
Me thinking it's as great as it is a hot take.
Yeah.
But I do think in general the ratings were really good for the movie. I just think that like I mean on Letterboxd it's like what, a 3.8, and like, you know, I don't know, like hey, you said yourself you judge based off that a lot of the time.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was lower. I didn't know.
No, like Babylon,
'cause I heard people didn't like it.
No, I think a lot of people didn't like the ending.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I think that really Damien Chazelle's endings, as you can tell from Whiplash and La La Land, are always very kind of, I don't even know, like just out there. really uh thought provoking
Okay.
and open ended
Well,
is a good way to put it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, La La Land was like
I think
that.
essentially all three movies have somewhat debatable endings
I agree. You know what?
about what,
Whoever's
and not
listening,
about if it was good, but about what happened. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, people listening to this, drop your hot takes in the comments. I want to read that shit, and I want to like review them and talk about them, or just comment, respond to them. Like, I want to see what people's hot takes are.
Well, I'm with that because you've had some spicy ones on
Yeah,
here,
I might not be the
but
worst person.
in general, the other point was I don't think I have as many hot takes. Like I really don't.
Probably. Um,
Um,
but I do love Whiplash. That's my favorite of those three, and I'm excited to see what else he does.
yeah.
What
So
are the? So this is only three movies.
and then First Man, which
First
is
Man,
the space movie, and
gotcha.
he probably had some earlier like those are his main feature films. I'm sure he had college stuff or whatever, but
Gotcha.
like
Yeah, yeah.
professionally speaking, as far as I know, it's those four. So this would be his fifth, and it
Okay.
sounds really interesting. So,
Just another
um,
list for me to add to my letterbox lists. Damien
yeah,
Chazelle films.
yeah. So we digressed a lot. Let's get to the box office numbers. That's what's
Yeah,
next, right?
our
What do we even
namesake.
the hell are we even doing today? I don't know. All right, box office numbers, folks. These are the box office numbers from the weekend of October 3rd through the 5th. We are in spooky season. In 5th place, in its 5th weekend of release, another $4 million going into the pockets of The Conjuring Last Rites. So, honestly, maintaining a strong hold on that top five
Yeah, it's on its way
through
out
a
though.
whole, sure, but the fact that it's still in the top five through 5 weeks, in my opinion, I know it hasn't had a ton of competition, but it is great for a horror franchise, especially at this time of year.
And it made it to October, so that's good.
It has made it to October. In 4th place in its second weekend of release, making $5.2 million. Five of those $1 million were from Jack's own pockets, his favorite movie, Gabby's Dollhouse, the
Yeah.
movie.
I went
This
and saw it
is your
500,000
bread and
times.
butter. Dude, I heard that you dropped out of school and lost your job and everything and moved in to a movie theater.
I moved into a dollhouse, actually.
Into
Into
Gabby's
Gabby's dollhouse.
Dollhouse. Yeah, it's called method acting, folks. Get with it.
Yeah, for real.
In 3rd place in its first weekend of release, making an underwhelming $6 million is The Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
Fun fact for you guys and Jack, did you know that this is Dwayne Johnson's lowest domestic opening for a weekend in his entire career?
I did notice that, and that's something I'm gonna bring something up to you later on. But yeah, that's just insane.
In 2nd place in its second weekend of release, making $11.1 million and only a 49.4% drop from its first weekend, which is fairly modest, is One Battle After Another. And for the folks keeping score at home, this film has crossed $100 million worldwide, making it PTA's first $100 million film.
Yeah,
So that's huge.
I only found out because the comments that There Will Be Blood's budget was only 25 million.
I mean, obviously it had a lower budget, but it's not necessarily that it didn't make its money back. It's just that he had never hit that mark.
Yeah,
Those are still
that's
not
what I
really
was thinking.
considered, like it's a success for the studio, but it's still a modest, like it's a modest box office.
Yeah, it's
It's
not a
not
hit.
considered like a hit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a success, but it's not a hit.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a difference there to clarify. I saw those comments as well, but it did cross. It's actually over $101 million dollars now. So this one is definitively number one, which we predicted last week. And in first place in its first weekend of release, making $33 million. Taylor Swift, the official release party of A Showgirl. Jack would have seen this if he wasn't too busy watching Gabby's Dollhouse, which is understandable.
You know me
But
so well.
otherwise, the Swifties came out in force. In fact, I went to go see two movies this past weekend: The Smashing Machine and Good Boy. Which, by the way, Good Boy finished all the way down in ninth in its opening weekend of release. Not surprised. It honestly is probably a better opening at $2.2 million than anyone really expected it to be, for what it is as an indie film. But anyway, what I'm saying is I went to the theater, and both times it was absolutely swarmed with Swifties there to support the Taylor Swift film. These movies do very well. The Eras tour movie did very well. I've never seen it. Didn't you actually
I did
watch
see it.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's just a concert. I mean,
yeah,
it was literally just a concert in the theater.
I heard that this one, the official release party of a Showgirl, is literally just like a music video, and then like some behind the scenes footage of the music video, and then like lyric videos. And that to me does not feel worthy of giving this the rare A+ cinema score. I don't know, that's just me.
Bro,
But
Taylor Swift can do anything and make hundreds of millions of dollars for it just existing.
yeah,
Dude, she just made a new song that people are like raving about, and she's talking about like Travis Kelce's fat dick or something, and it's like,
I did hear about that.
Well, nobody wants to know that. Like, also, that's not
much-
her brand. Her brand is not like freaky Sabrina Carpenter type shit.
I think well, to be fair, I think Taylor Swift's whole thing with the Eras tour is that her brand has changed and evolved over the years.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's just weird.
the Taylor
man.
Swift look has taken on different eras, so to speak, different looks, you know. I mean, I get what you're saying, but like, I don't think that means she shouldn't be at a liberty to sing about
No, she
more
can do whatever she
adult-related content. To me, it's more about not the music. I'm not here to judge her music. We're a film podcast. It's about the film, and I haven't seen it, sure, but just judging by the sound of it, you know, it just it's a little silly. Like I'm not even like putting down concert films, because there actually have been some incredibly well produced concert films.
I liked the
throughout
Eras
film
tour one.
history.
I actually enjoyed it.
But yeah, fair enough. I can't speak on it. But just in terms of the Showgirl one, which I haven't seen either, to be fair. What is that made internationally? So internationally, so far it's at 46 million. I'll be curious to see how that carries over next weekend. But anyway, all right. So congrats to Taylor Swift on winning the box office.
She needed a win.
She's had it rough lately. It's been a bad year for her.
Yeah.
So she definitely needed this one.
Yeah.
So we
we'll
feel
give
for
it to
you,
her.
Taylor. We feel for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about people who got some wins or whatever. I don't know. Trying to think of a transition. Was not A+ like Showgirl.
No, there you go. That's a little better.
Yeah, all right, there you go. I pulled one out of my ass after all. The Smashing Machine. Obviously you didn't get to see it, Jack. You were gonna. Plans change, unfortunately. Shit happens. That's life.
Yeah.
So my review will be a little more abbreviated than if we had both seen it, but even then, the conversation wouldn't be too long. I won't really delve into spoilers to the best of my abilities, as always. And I'll just go right into giving my rating and my thoughts. So, The Smashing Machine, I would give it 7. I guess 7 Dwayne Johnson Oscar campaigns out of 10. I don't know how to word that.
You really think that this is like Oscar worthy?
Probably won't be on my top 5 by the end of the year, but this is what I was trying to get at with that one is like, this is so clearly his push for an Oscar. Like,
oh yeah, I could tell that from the trailers.
That's what I was trying to get at.
But would you consider it Oscar bait?
Yeah.
Okay.
To a degree, actually.
Okay. All right.
I'm not even a big fan of that term, Oscar bait.
Yeah, I don't really get it, but I've heard it thrown around, and I'm sort of starting to understand it. Like when Bradley Cooper makes Maestro, and it's like he's clearly making it because he wants an Oscar.
But
like,
he spent 6 years. I don't know that you're doing that if you're not just like, he's devoted to the craft. And also, if you want, who doesn't? Like, this is what I don't understand. Hear me out on this argument about the whole fucking Oscar bait thing, since you brought that up. And I think this is
I think it up.
No, I think this is actually a great place to bring it up. think about it in like a sports context. Like I'm wearing a Cubs jersey for this episode, right? Um, the playoffs are going on right now, and you want to like achieve the highest level in playoffs when you're an athlete. Like you want to win the World Series or the Stanley Cup or the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals or the World Cup or the Olympics or whatever the hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and yet when we look at awards in regards to like film and entertainment and music or whatever, Tonys, theater even, for some reason striving for that is like frowned upon. I just
I
don't get
no,
that.
I
Like,
get what you're saying because like if you're in the Super Bowl and you do a crazy good play and you get the touchdown and you do it because you want to win Super Bowl MVP, like who cares? You won Super Bowl MVP because you wanted it and you did something that helped your team to do it. You know what I mean?
just but even if you're like, I mean, yeah, but like even if you don't want to win Super Bowl MVP, like even if in your head it's just I want to win the Super Bowl,
Right.
what's the
Exactly.
difference between that and like I want to win an Oscar? Because let's say the Oscar you want to win is Best Picture.
Yeah. I want to win
That's
Best
a team
Picture.
effort.
I'm gonna make something worth Best Picture.
Like, you know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
I want to win best actor. I want to win best actress. I want to be like I just don't understand, or like the Grammys, the Tonys, the Emmys, anything. I don't understand why entertainment doesn't get to value striving for awards and accolades like sports does.
So so through the use of the term, it is Oscar bait,
I mean,
but not.
yeah,
You
but
don't agree with that term.
I don't agree with the term is my whole argument
Yeah.
because I don't understand why I'm not like I don't believe that they made Maestro with the sole purpose of winning an Oscar.
They couldn't
You
have.
don't spend 6 years trying to learn how to conduct if you're not also just committed to the craft. Like
Right.
at a sense of being committed to that craft of acting and filmmaking.
You don't do
I don't
anything
know
for 6
why.
years without being
And then
committed
for
to it.
him to want to win the award, to want to have been the best at doing something he loves is no different than sports. And I just don't understand why the society we live in doesn't value it equally. It's silly to me. So I don't agree with the term. If Dwayne Johnson wants to turn his career, like look at it this way, we always rank him at the bottom 3 of the wrestler turn actors. And to start talking about the Smashing Machine a little bit, which I think this is a great performance from him. No, this doesn't put him above Dave Bautista or John Cena, but this gets him somewhere. This shows me that he's got something else in his pocket than what we've seen. That's what it showed me. And like for him to look at where his career is and say, hey, like the whole thing with DC failed, everything, like I've had some bad, flops. I want to be treated more seriously. Oscars is such a prestigious award and the Academy is such a prestigious place. That's a place where I can finally be recognized among my peers as a serious actor. Why is it so bad that he wants to make a project that's intended to prove that? Like, I don't see what's wrong with it.
You're very right. And before you go into your actual review, I have one more question for you about the
Yeah,
Smashing
no,
Machine.
this is more interesting than talking about the movie, in my opinion.
Okay,
Like,
because this I think this is an important thing to bring up is we just talked about the box office, right? And it only made what'd you say, like $8 million in its first
like
weekend or something like that?
six
$6 million
in
its first weekend.
domestically.
His lowest opening weekend of all time. Is this Dwayne Johnson fatigue? Because that's been a thing. People have been like, I'm sick of seeing Dwayne Johnson, sick of The Rock being the same character in every single movie. He's always playing himself, blah, blah, blah. And then he tries to do something different and nobody goes to go see it. So do they just want to see him punching aliens and running through the jungle? Or like, I don't understand.
I think it's just more of a case of it being an A24 film that got no uh air in its tires leading up to its release, so to speak.
Okay.
I mean, you literally have Benny Safdie out here in theaters in New York and LA with like the picket signs on him like that says go see the Smashing Machine. Like this is what he's resorting to get people to see his film.
Well, he does that all the
So,
time, though, apparently. He's done it for
okay,
like multiple of his movies.
fair enough. Maybe that is his shtick then, but like still that's kind of like the best marketing this movie's even had.
It is the best.
So you might be onto something, but I also think a larger reason behind the disappointing opening weekend is that People don't really know about it. Um, Also, last weekend, I predicted one battle after another to finish first. It didn't because of Taylor Swift. I
Oh
didn't. I
yeah.
just remember this now. But it did beat out the Smashing Machine still.
Yeah, which is it was its really only competition. I mean, Taylor Swift, yeah, that's not really a movie, but
Right.
it is
I
what it is.
mean, like that was always like the big popular thing that has a large fan base of support. You look at these kind of, lower budget independent films or whatever, I mean, studio backed one battle after another, but still um actually narrative driven stories and movies. And
Yeah.
so anyway, I just think that like people didn't know about it,
Like
and
Dwayne
they didn't care
Johnson,
that much.
he's a movie star and he's bringing in the money for, Jumanji 3 comes out and that's making hundreds of millions of dollars, but the
That's a
Smashing
franchise.
Machine. Yeah, exactly.
Like
So
this
maybe
is this is like a little independent biopic.
that's what I'm saying. So maybe it's not him and The Rock fatigue. It's more studio and it is what it is. It's not a franchise. It's not him in Moana. It's not him in Jumanji, you know. It's not him on The Jungle Cruise with Emily Blunt because it's clearly he's with Emily Blunt here and it's not making the money it should. So I think you're right actually.
That's what I think. And they're great. Like to get into the movie a little bit here. Oh, did I even give my rating? I don't even know. I think I
You
said
said
7.
7
That's all right.
Oscars out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. That is how this all started. Wow, look at
Yeah.
that. All right, so 7 out of 10. I mean, so basically, this film is a biopic that chronicles the UFC MMA fighter Mark Kerr between the
Marker?
years. Marker.
Okay.
Mark Kerr. I don't know, like Miranda
Kerr,
Kerr.
yeah.
Yeah, Mark Kerr. Uh, God damn it, Marker. Um, and basically it takes place between the years of 1997 and 2000, and it's kind of like a mixture of things. So obviously we see like kind of his rise and fall through MMA fighting. Dwayne Johnson's great. The top thing I want to shout out is the makeup crew and like the costuming crew of this movie, because it was phenomenal. First of all, before we even get to The Rock, like the blood and all the bruising and the injuries and everything actually was like one of the more realistic looking I've seen in a film, which I think helped really sold it for me at times. And then even more impressive, his transformation. Until later in the movie, I guess minor spoiler that doesn't matter about anything. He shaves his head at one point and just ends up looking like The Rock again. And everyone is kind of like, what? I remember like a lot of people are like, wait, so he's just like The Rock
It's The
again?
Rock with a different nose.
It's basically like The Rock with like a different nose and like weird eyebrows, like
Okay.
different shape eyebrows. But anyway, before that, like he really like kind of is unrecognizable. And if you're not actively thinking about that being The Rock, you could maybe forget from at times, like in certain
Do
scenes.
you think that's kind of why they did it? Because to make him Mark Kerr, you don't need to do the makeup. Just say this is his name is Mark Kerr in the movie, you know? But I think there's a good chance that they're like, we want to distract people from the fact that this is The Rock because he's so known as The Rock.
Well, partially, yeah, but also you want to try and make him look as close to, your central character as you can. And I mean, productions use prosthetics all the time to kind of alter appearances, whether it's slightly or dramatically, to be able to kind of get the effect and the intended look that they want for the character. And
Yeah.
so here with, Dwayne Johnson as Mark Kerr, like, I can't get over the marker thing when I say it. I'm just gonna say
Hey,
Mark.
you said
When
it,
he
bro.
plays Mark, yeah, but you said it first, and now it's in my head. When he plays Mark, basically, like there are certain scenes throughout where his performance is good enough, and the transformation with the makeup crew is so good that you really do forget at times, if you're not actively thinking about it,
That's
that
cool.
this is The Rock. And I really like that because, like I said a little earlier, we talked about the whole wrestler thing. This is the first time that I look at Dwayne Johnson and I legitimately am like, of all the films I've seen, and legitimately am like, oh, like he has something. And I think some people say like Pain and Gain or whatever. I've never seen that, so like I can't speak on it. I know people really like his performance in that, but I think he's doing really great work here. Emily Blunt and him have great chemistry. You kind of highlighted before that they've worked together on other movies.
Mhm.
And so like that kind of comes across really well here. The biggest thing I'll say is like for all the sports fan that I am, I'm not a big fan of MMA, and this film doesn't do a ton to really get me interested in it. I like the way it's edited, it was actually edited by Benny Safdie himself, which is really cool. So he kind of was like hands on, not just directing, but crafting this film. And I think he does a great job of kind of getting that late '90s vintage look that he is shooting for. And so all of this is working in the film's favor, right? It really is just that I myself am not totally interested in the MMA stuff, and the film never makes it like, for a lack of better term, it doesn't glamorize it enough. It's kind of boring. And that
Okay.
was a little unexpected coming into this.
And MMA is, fast-paced, violent, like, you can get that to be cool for audiences that aren't too interested in it. I feel like it's very easy to do.
It doesn't even have to come across so much as cool, just as like that extra violence behind it. That really graphic kind of impact where it leaves you like, wow,
Yeah.
it's like, it's almost horrifying, but you can't look away, which
Well,
is
do
what
they
it
show
is.
it? Is
Sure,
there a lot
but
of fighting?
there's fighting scenes, of course, but it's just not that engaging in a way. I don't know, like there's not enough of them, and the ones that they do have, there are, but they're just not paced in a way that I guess I really could, as someone who's not a big fan of that sport, get into. I personally found the film a lot more interesting and entertaining when it was a narrative that was highlighting domestic abuse and drug addiction and the nonlinear path that people take to the road to recovery, because it kept flirting with these plot lines a lot of the time, and it would have a lot of really impactful scenes, and then it would kind of go away from that to go back to the fighting, and it just didn't really grapple both of it well, and I kept wanting more of that latter with that domestic abuse, and seeing how that impacted this relationship between Mark and his partner at the time, Dawn, which is Emily Blunt's character. And so, and you see how it impacts not just that relationship, but the relationship he has with everyone in his life. And so when the film had that, it was at its strongest. And when it was, ironically enough, showing the fighting, it was weaker and less engaging for me.
That's interesting because that was probably the opposite of what its purpose was. It was probably like, we'll get the fighting and get people, like, hyped up, engaged, and then, like, you
And
know
then get the other stuff in there to kind of say
Yeah,
this is what his life was about. But it just left
yeah.
me wanting more about that personal stuff. And it's obviously, you can't have a movie without about a UFC fighter without that fighting. Although this isn't about him fighting in the UFC. It's at that point he's fighting in some MMA event in Japan called Pride or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Not that Pride, for
Pride.
anyone
And
getting confused at home. I think that's what it was called, something along that line. And it's another MMA, kind of fighting event. And it's supposed to highlight like him, during these years that he's in Japan, or back and forth between the States and Japan doing this, trying to keep his career going. And so I just found the personal stuff more interesting. And when you were going to do the fighting, I think the suspense around it needed to be done better for me.
gotcha. So that's why you took off 3 points, or is there anything else that you weren't
Um, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to like judge mathematically, like exactly I took off a certain amount for each like
Right, yeah.
thing. It comes down to almost like a weird uh intangible like calculation in my head of just like things I liked about it, things I didn't like, and how I weigh it
Yeah,
in value.
that's fair, it's how you feel about it.
I mean, at the end of the day, anyone who likes to get on either of our backs about opinions, and oh, God knows I love getting on Jack's back about his opinions
Pause.
sometimes.
What? You like getting on my back?
All right.
All right, guy.
Relax there,
All right,
big
guy.
guy. Relax there, guy. Anyway, no, but like at the end of the day, these are just our opinions, man. Like we started a podcast so we could tell our opinions. That's what we're doing here. We're telling the news, but obviously it's opinionated. We're
Man.
fucking biased. I'm gonna be
They
the
let
first to
anyone
admit
start
it.
a podcast these days.
Dude, they fucking let anybody start a
Podcast equipment should be
podcast.
more expensive.
Yeah, man, this fucking cheap
The
shit.
shit is
Look at that.
expensive, honestly.
Yeah, why do you think we have the cheap shit, you guys? Like,
Yeah, we can't afford it.
we're broke. All right, we're trying our best here. We work, Jackson School still like
Shit
hell,
sucks.
man. This calls for a like that's
That's
why
our
we don't
lives
get it.
right now.
That is
My bank account.
So anyway, no, I mean, but when it comes to ratings, like I really liked the editing. I really liked a lot of the performances and kind of the atmosphere that was set and a lot of the narrative threads, but I didn't like how loose and jumping around it was. I felt like I love Benny Safdie. I mean, this gave me a lot of like The Curse vibes, the show that he did that had Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone. Very similar in tone. And I know he was striving for that, but sometimes I do think it leans a little more into a tonal aspect than a narrative aspect, and I just needed the balance. That's where I get to 7. It's a good movie. Like that's what a 7 is. It's a good movie. I don't know that I feel the need to see it again.
Where is it on your 2025 releases?
That's a good question. Out of 41 so far this year that I've seen, it is 28.
That's lower than I thought it was going to be.
Really? What did you
a
think it would be?
7 out of 10. You only have 12 movies that are, or 13 movies that are worse than it? That's pretty good. That means you saw...
how many bad movies do you go watch a year?
Well, it's not about go. I've seen a lot of, like, on Amazon Prime, the fucking War of the Worlds, and I sometimes I just watch movies.
Right.
Well,
so, I mean, I have that too, but, like, I like movies, so I do tend to rate movies higher.
That's fair. And you know what?
I like movies. Even when they have problems, I still like movies. That's why I have a movie podcast.
You and I each do the 2025 list. So if you're watching this and you have Letterboxd, go follow us at Jack Maloney, at Josh Omasho. Is that right? Josh Omasho?
Yeah, I think so.
Word. Go follow us on Letterboxd. Every time we watch a new movie, you can check out our lists and our rankings and stuff like that. Maybe that's early access before the podcast.
I have tons. It would be early access for me because I go in depth in some of my reviews.
That's true.
But not always. I have lists for like everything. So
yeah, me too. Everything. Like that's why I'm saying I'm excited to watch the Damien Chazelle movie because then once I have 3, I start a list. Once I have 3 of a certain subject, I start a list for it.
Honestly, that's a good bench like mark there.
Yeah, because I only have La La Land and Whiplash right now for him. So
you got to watch Babylon so you can start a list.
Exactly.
That's your incentive.
Fair enough.
So that's the Smashing Machine. Unfortunately, not smashing its way to a positive box office. Smashed its way to a decent review from me. I recommend seeing it if for no other reason than to check out some of the good work that people behind the scenes are doing in that film and to see Dwayne Johnson, in my opinion, what might be a career performance. I mean, it's not a stretch to say it. I don't think that his body of work necessarily is so super impressive. So, even though it's not the best film, to say this is his career performance might not be a stretch. So,
it's not crazy.
That's the Smashing Machine. Speaking of having a list for everything, though, I have my Halloween list going this year.
Okay.
And I did see a new movie out in theaters that we were talking about on this podcast that's spooky related, and that is Good Boy. We were talking about it. It's the horror film, the indie, that is an independent-backed horror film from the perspective of a dog. It comes in at a mere 73 minutes long. So it is a very short film for a very good boy. No pun intended. He is a very good boy.
He was good.
So I'm going to give my rating and review. And and I'm going to explain exactly. You kind of emphasize, like, oh, where do I get to, like, the numbers? I'm going to do my best to explain this one.
Okay.
I give this movie 5 incredibly cute doggos out of 10. It pains me to give an independent backed film a lower rating. It
And a film
does.
with a cute dog,
And a
bro.
film that stars one of the cutest dogs I've ever seen, whose name in the movie and real life is Indy.
Yeah, just say you hate dogs. That's pretty much what I'm getting from
No,
this.
Indy is the best part of the movie. It
Okay.
pains me. I'm going to explain this. It was certainly one of the most experimental films I've seen in a while. And by its premise, it would be, right?
Yeah, the idea
It's
is crazy.
it's a dog who is watching its owner basically get possessed. Um, Truthfully though, because the dog, like, the whole thing is the dog, obviously, like a dog wouldn't, doesn't really understand. Like, throughout the film, the point they're trying to get at, without spoiling like the plot, is that the dog, like, dogs are very keen to, us and what's going on, and, like, if there's a problem, right? I mean, you have a dog, so you can attest to
Uh huh.
it. And, like, it's not that Indy didn't serve his purpose as a character in that sense, but it's basically 73 minutes of watching a sad and worried dog.
I said this is why I didn't want to see it. That's exactly what I said. I was like, I'm not trying to see this dog cry for 70 minutes.
And yeah, that did turn out to be a bit more of a factor than initially could or could not anticipate. And it's just interesting to me because it kind of reignites this idea and discussion around, like, the sensitivity towards animals and entertainment compared to people, and even in our own news and media cycle in the real life,
Oh yeah,
um
there's a total difference.
big difference. And so, like, it pained me because there were some really cool shots, some interesting scares, um and, like, I thought it was awesome. I was in a packed theater for this kind of a
That's
movie. It
cool
was shocking. But truthfully, a handful of people walked out.
because it was so
Just
like
throughout the film, I
terrible.
mean, I don't know. I didn't interview them after, but I would have to imagine if you see one person walk out of a movie theater, you can think maybe they just had somewhere to be. You see two people walk out of the movie theater, maybe they just didn't like it. But you see a handful of people, walk out of a movie theater, and it raises some interesting questions.
Well, I
So
wonder if it's didn't like it or wasn't comfortable with it.
that's true, but because so I stayed for the end. Obviously, it was a little uncomfortable at times, but I was interested in seeing how the movie ended. Um, and, like, I'm walking out, and a ton of people loved it, like, from who remained. Like, the
Mhm.
people that
The
remained were like
survivors.
yeah, so to speak, which was a lot of people still, don't get me wrong. They were like, "This was awesome." I heard people, like, mingling amongst themselves, like, "That was great. I loved it." In fact, I had this movie rated lower until the post-credit scene. There is a post-credit scene,
And
and
it
it's
brought
not
you up.
it brought me up, but I'll explain it. Uh, well, I'll get to that in a second. One other thing that I didn't love about this movie is that it felt non-committal. It was like it kept giving us little bits of details about the humans and, like, what's going on in their lives. When I say non-committal, it was like it should have either been totally, we have no idea what's going on, we're as lost as the dog, we have no, almost like Charlie Brown it, want want, like, I don't want to know. Or give us everything, what's happening, like, not everything necessarily, but more. Give us enough so we understand, like, what's happening, what's possessing them, what are they seeing. It felt very on the fence with that. Something I think you would have a problem with too. I think if you saw this, you would call out the same thing. And I
Mhm.
saw it. I would agree in this case. Like, I felt like it needed to be one or the other, and it wasn't, so that was another problem I had with it as well, to give it a 5. It
Yeah.
was both that and the dog thing. But now I'll finish off here with the end credit scene that brings me back up a bit. The filmmaker sits down with the dog, reveals that it's actually his dog, and was explaining, like, I, I wanted this to come across in a way that makes sense. Obviously, the dog isn't in any real danger. It's not that anyone knows that. It's just that the end credit scene was so fun in contrast to, like, it's not that we didn't know what we saw, it's that seeing it at the end was so cool and fun that it made me appreciate it more.
I get what you're
Because
saying. It's like refreshing.
like, and it's like, we know it. I'm not an idiot. I've seen thousands of movies probably at this point in my life already. And I know that the dog's not in danger. There's no paranormal stuff going on. The owner's not getting possessed. It's just
It's all
sad to
real,
see. It's
bro.
just uncomfortable to watch. Yeah, I know. It's all real. What the hell? Movies are real, bro.
Wait,
Um,
what?
I guess documentaries are, but anyway. So like I definitely, like, know this, but then he's sitting down, he's showing us, like, it's what he explains that we don't know still, which is that Indy is not a trained dog actor like some animals are in movies. He's just his dog. And he had no idea he was making a movie. He's not trained to make a movie. And it took them 3 years to do it. And it was just him and his wife in their living room. They had, like, some production that was not there, but it was just them in their living room. And they would show shots from the movie that are, like, super spooky, and then show them being, like, showing, like, at the same time squeaking a toy. So,
That's
like,
funny.
they explain again stuff that we know, which is they talk about juxtaposition shots, basically using certain angles and context to create certain facts. When in reality, you see a shot that Indy looks worried, but Indy in that shot's not even worried. He's just happy,
He's
you
an
know.
actor,
But
man.
but but it's the way that the juxtaposition, and it's not that that needs to be explained. It's showing that to the audience, though, after they had just seen the movie, to get the contrast visually, I think was so appreciated, at
I
least
think
by
it's smart.
me,
Yeah, I think that's
that
smart to
it
do.
bumped it back up a bit, because I'm someone who appreciates the technical side of movie making, obviously. And I loved to see that. And someone who had just had to watch the dog be sad for 73 minutes, like, even though I know this stuff, to see it is cool.
I
And
also
so,
I think it's like it's a way to ease your audience and like relax them a little bit, but they know it, so it's more so like w- the meaning behind why you're showing them that. It's not about you showing them it, it's why you're showing it. It's like I'm showing you because I know you're uncomfortable and I'm sorry I put you through that, but the dog was totally fine and you guys know that, but we're making sure you could see how fine he really was.
and I also think it's, like, beyond that too, that it's just showing, like, this is the reality of the movie making, business, and what producing a movie and filming looks like. Something like this, and how they're able to go from a fun little dog who's just running around in a house with his squeaker toys to a horror film that, I guess, if you want to give it a bit of a benefit of the doubt, was effective in a sense,
Yeah.
because it made me feel this way. So it is a little fair to judge that. It does make me a little bit hypocritical, so I will beat myself up a bit for that. But, like, in a sense, it is effective with that. And that's why I bump the rating back up a bit, because I give them credit for kind of having this contrast within the film, and breaking that fourth wall, and opening that up to us, especially for an independent movie. So it's good. It's all right. It's not that the movie's totally bad. I do have some problems with it, but it's still, like, if you're looking for something experimental and different, and you want to support independent filmmakers, it's worth seeing. And, if you're just a horror nut like myself, you might like it more than me. You might like it less than me. You might like it just as much as I did, but you might as well check it out. That's my take on it.
And I didn't even plan this, but I'm wearing my Happy Dog t-shirt.
That's
Sh-
crazy. Look at
Shout out to
that.
the Happy Dog Surf Shop. If you go check them out, they're on Long Island. It's a non-profit organization that raises money for no-kill animal shelters out on Long Island. So, Happy Dog Surf Shop. They're adorable little dogs on your t-shirt. It's like $25.
I was about to like make a joke like, "Wow, look at you trying to like beg for sponsors," and then you were talking about how it's a nonprofit. I'm like, "Oh wait, no,
It's a
that's
nonprofit,
nice."
dude.
Like,
They raise money for animal
please, no,
shelters,
shout that
dude.
out, shout that out. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
No, I love them, so they're
that's
cool.
well timed, and I
And
think
it's a nice shirt, right?
that is a cute shirt. I love the
Yeah,
little doggo.
it's a
Look
little
at that.
doggy.
Yeah, and the Chicago Cubs are a nonprofit
They're
for
not from.
trying to win baseball games, but getting their asses kicked
They need the donations.
by the Milwaukee Brewers. Anyway, so that's Good Boy. I want to take some time to talk about another thing in the realm of horror today, but this time television, and that's the first ever show in the Alien franchise, Alien Earth. It came out, it ended, and I finally finished it. It was 8 episodes. I know you haven't seen it, so I'm gonna hold back on spoilers, but I still want to tell you a little bit about this show because I really liked it. So I give it 8.8 xenomorphs and face huggers and eyeballs out of 10.
That's good. That's
Um,
good. All right.
this show basically showcases Earth's first interactions with xenomorphs and like other alien creatures. In fact, this show kind of confirms the wider, broader reality of this world having other aliens besides xenomorphs, which I think could potentially lead to connections with Predator down the
I
road.
hope so. Not the
Not to
shitty Alien vs Predator movies.
No, because that's really only one of the only kind of connections so far between these franchises. Obviously, we know Predator Badlands too, but like I do think that some of this kind of hints at that being down the road as a
Cool.
potential um kind of narrative thread to play with. So anyway, the show kind of opens up to some more context to this franchise. How much of the Alien franchise have you watched?
I've seen Alien, and I've seen Alien Romulus.
Okay.
That's it.
So this kind of so to give you an idea, by the way, this takes place 2 years before the first Alien movie.
So
And
chronologically, this is the first thing in the whole
no,
Alien franchise, no?
no, Prometheus is.
Oh, I forgot there's the whole prequel shit with like Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Prometheus and Covenant
Okay.
take
All right.
place
Fair.
before, but this takes place before 2 years before the first Alien movie. This takes place in the year 2120, and this takes place 20 years. No, so the first Alien movie takes place 20 years before Romulus. So this takes place a little over 20 years before Romulus, to give you some context.
Really? I thought Romulus took place a couple years after the first one.
Romulus takes place 20 years after the first one.
Okay. But that's still before the second one, right?
Yes, it's in between
Got
the
it.
first and the second.
Got it.
I'm just trying to give you some context right
Yeah,
now
yeah.
from
This is helping me.
your knowledge. So Alien Earth takes place 2 years before the first one, and like
Okay.
a little over 20 years before Romulus. Um, Basically what we get is way more context about what humanity looks like at this time, which is stuff you only hear about a little bit in the first Alien movie, and then in the subsequent Alien films after that. The only spoiler that I have to drop just for the conversation purposes is the return to Earth. When Ripley returns to Earth, we get a little bit more kind of story towards what's going on, with humanity. So Alien Earth kind of gives us a little bit wider context, which is that the governments of the world have lost control of their power, and seizing it it's basically corporatocracy. Like corporations now have control. There are 5 of them that are the main ones. The biggest one for aliens purposes is of course Weyland-Yutani. That's the one I'm sure.
And I remember that one from Romulus.
Yeah. So basically this show, there's a couple different things going on, but for the overarching franchise, what I'm telling you about here is it showcases another company called Prodigy, which is basically a company in on the world that kind of is in charge of, or their main thing is they create synthetic bodies and different AI artificial lives. And it's kind of his uh battle almost with Yutani of Weyland-Yutani, because there's a ship that crashes called the Maginot, and on board is alien species like facehuggers that can create xenomorphs, and the two companies are fighting for control over studying the species. So during the show, what we see over at Prodigy is I'm pretty sure they call it Project Prodigy as well at Prodigy. It's the company is run by a boy genius called Boy Cavalier, and he basically built the company up from the ground from the age of 6.
Okay. Little child
And
prodigy.
so the whole show highlights that humanity's ultimate desire is to achieve immortality, right? Like that's kind of the soul-based theme for humanity in the Alien franchise. That's what they want. They want to
Okay.
achieve immortality. So if there's any ever confusion, like what are they ever doing? What's all of this about?
Yeah,
That's
because
what everyone is trying to accomplish.
I didn't really gather that from the only two movies I've seen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The first movie came out in like 1979 or whatever. Like it's like the first Star Wars, you know. That
Yeah.
context didn't necessarily even exist yet,
Yeah, and they don't
you
really talk
know.
about that in Romulus, I don't think.
Well, it's pockets of it, you know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Romulus showcased like hints at different things. They make there's definitely like references towards the Prometheus side of the franchise in that movie. But it's certainly a point in all of it that humanity's desires to achieve immortality. There are three methods to this approach. There are three approaches basically to this. Um, and those they call them destinies. The first one is cyborgs, you know, cybernetically enhanced humans. The second one is synthetics, since they're artificially intelligent beings. And the third is hybrids. They are synthetic beings with downloaded human consciousness. So what the reason I tell you this is because the show is about or part of it, like the individual stories, are these kids who are terminally ill who sign up for this Project Prodigy to be the first people to transfer into synthetic bodies and be the first hybrids ever.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm trying to explain the context. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm able, if, you know, I wanted everything to make
I'm
sense.
getting it. I'm getting it.
Um, so anyway, these terminally ill children are experimentally put into adult bodies that are these hybrid synthetic bodies. Um, and they are being weaponized by this company and Boy Cavalier. And they are trying to kind of make sense of like being child conscious in an adult body and like how fucked that is. And it's them trying to come to their senses of freedom and independence. And so that's kind of just the rundown of what goes on in this show. I think it's very interesting. I wanted to take time, like obviously I'm not getting into spoilers like we might have if we had both seen it. But the reason I'm giving you context as one, you're someone who's interested enough in the franchise to have seen two movies at
Yeah,
least.
100%.
But
I
also,
loved Romulus too. It's one of my favorite movies of that year.
yeah, and like I think that this show is great. I think the first couple episodes are a little slow, like Alien can be, and then it starts to really pick up to a great ending where it does leave us open, by the way, for a potential season 2. In fact, I would hope, you know, that otherwise it'd be disappointing because it would be a little unsatisfying. I mean, you could leave it there because Alien is like pockets of stories anyway.
Yeah,
So like you could leave it there, but it definitely could keep going too.
I always have this problem or seem to have a problem with movies that are then turned into TV shows because their big draw, like when you look at It, the movie It, Pennywise kind of teases the entire time, then he shows up, big finale, blah blah blah. Then they're making It TV show, and I'm worried that he's gonna be teased for a couple episodes and then not show up to the end, stuff like that. How does Alien Earth do with the actual xenomorphs? Like, are they actually prominently in it, or is it tease, 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 tease? Oh, big finale, here they are.
I mean, the whole like basis is that a ship crash landed on Earth with the alien species on board and no survivors, by the way. Um so like I I mean like I would say they're not necessarily dancing it around in your face all the time, jingling it like a pair of keys.
Yeah.
But the xenomorphs get their time
Good,
in the
and you
show.
like, you're content with that?
I'm content with it.
Cool, okay, no, that's just because that's something that I always worry about when you get something like this. Because 'cause I'm fine with sitting through 2 hours to wait for a big finish, but I don't wanna sit through 7 hours to wait for a big finish, you know?
The biggest thing for me is that the xenomorphs aren't and like I was talking about this before, but they're not the only alien species being explored in the show.
'Kay.
Whereas in the past, this franchise, that was like primarily it. And so we do kind of see like there's this one alien that's like an eyeball that goes, it like pops into like living beings like head by taking out their eyeball, and it can control it. Like it
What the
kills it, but it's
fuck, dude?
controlling it. And so there's like that, and then like obviously we see a lot more with the face huggers, which is cool.
Yeah.
And we see like a couple other things throughout that are really interesting. Just like
All aliens are
showcase,
fucking nasty,
it's just
dude.
like teasing it, and again, like obviously at the center is the whole cyborg synthetic hybrid kind of power struggle with this
Right.
company, and we see all three of those types of characters in the show. Not saying who is what or what is who, that's to be watched for yourself, but all three are in the show. And it's interesting to see like how they kind of come to terms with mortality and like life and stuff. I mean, it's not necessarily on a silver platter for the audience. It's a sci-fi alien show, but like they're definitely pondering these ideas throughout the thematic elements that are kind of like woven into the storylines. And so I find that really fun to watch.
Yeah, I could get behind
Um,
that.
and I think you would love this show. To be honest, I really think you'd be into it. I don't think it'd be your favorite. I think it'd be a situation where you'd be like me. Maybe the first episode or two is a little like whatever, whatever. Um, but you get in. I mean, it's 8 episodes, and I mean, I started it when it started coming out, and I watched like 4 or 5 of the 8 episodes in the last like 2 weeks. So I've
Mhm.
picked up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it really started to have my grasp. So, I mean, I highly recommend it to everyone out there. I think it's a great show. I hope that Hulu and FX give it another season. Because Noah Hawley doesn't always do second seasons. Like Fargo is anthology every year, comes back new characters, but this would be cool to see them continue.
Do you think they can continue this plot line in a new Alien movie? Or it's kinda strictly with these specific characters in the show?
No, it can, but it's like the same thing with the original Alien line of movies and the Prometheus section and everything. Everything's so like loosely to tightly connected. Like you definitely could continue this in a movie. In fact, I would love to see that down the road. I think that would be a great movie. But with that said, there are a lot of things going on in this universe. It's not like Avengers where it's all going to come necessarily to one big end game.
Yeah, yeah, all the
So
aliens versus all the predators versus all the synths and the
yeah,
fucking
like, you know what I
robots.
mean? Like, as fucking, like, sick that would either be
That would
so
be
cool. It would
crazy,
either be so cool or the worst brain rot ever. No in
you know?
between.
And I'm still watching either way.
I'm still watching either way, but that's not like where this is going.
Yeah,
It's just
this is good,
stories
yeah.
in this universe, which I kind of prefer. I do think, like, not to get into a Marvel conversation, but part of Marvel's problem with popularity, with general interest, was that it promoted a big climactic ending and then continued. And I think that has been a bit of a problem for it because I think people saw it as an exit ramp,
Yeah,
and
you're right. Because now people are like, now they have
they're
to do
like,
the same thing with Secret Wars, it's gonna be the end, and it's like, dude,
you know what I
didn't you
mean?
learn anything?
But I don't even think that's unfair though. I think it's on Marvel that they did that.
Yeah,
That they promoted it so much as an ending and not just
right.
a big event.
So now that
Um,
this isn't taking that route, which is good.
right, like Alien or other franchises like Mad Max comes to mind. They're very much like loosely based. We're just telling stories in this universe. Hell, even Star Wars is kind of like that. I mean, we haven't seen past Rise of Skywalker yet, which is a big climactic ending, I guess, but like it's one where we see the storyline flow, and that's always been the situation. It never really built up to anything big. You had the originals, then the prequels,
Yeah, I
and
mean, well, they
so
built up the Rise of Skywalker as like the end of the Skywalker saga, and then continued the Skywalker saga,
but they
and
haven't gone past it, but they have
but
continued it.
like what you said about The Conjuring, they said this is the last thing in this is it, and then they're like, all right, Conjuring prequel, all right, Conjuring TV series, all right, like just make it. Like even Mission Impossible, dude, they're like, this is the final reckoning, and there's like rumors that Tom Cruise is like, I'll do another one if you want me to, like. Just stop saying it's going to be the end if you're not going to make it the end.
The problem is because intention changes. You know what I mean? Like
100%. And when you say it's the
that's
last one, people are going to go see it.
right. And like, obviously part of it is to just get people to see it. And I do think other times they mean it. I honestly think Tom Cruise means it when this is it, but also he'll do another if the money's on the table because
Exactly.
he's a nut job he loves the
Yeah.
adrenaline. So, um,
So it's good that
I
Alien Earth.
prefer I
Yeah.
prefer the franchise though that does that. Yeah, where it's just
I
like
agree.
pockets of stories in the
Yeah.
franchise,
Because then
and
you could get as many stories as you want.
it doesn't have to. You don't need a franchise to feel like it's building up to something.
Right. You could
It
connect
can
them. You don't have to, but like it is what it is. You could have characters show up in other projects. It's fine and it's cool, but it's not the end of a franchise when you have that happen.
right. I think Alien is a franchise that has kind of done that very well. I wouldn't say perfected, but has gotten it down well enough where they are able to kind of, like I said, loosely connect story threads and different things within their franchise and universe without it needing to be a continuous story that is leading to a climactic ending. Because that's just not what Alien is. Ridley Scott's not that guy,
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was thinking.
I really like what they did with Alien Earth. And I want to see more kinds of stuff like that in that franchise. And I want to see more franchises take that kind of approach if they're going to do a TV show.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it, dude. That sounds good as hell.
So, yeah, let me know. And when you do, talk about it on this podcast because I think we all, uh, I want to know what you would think. So, that's Alien Earth. Jack, you did a lot of talking. Do you have anything else you got to say?
I did a lot of talking.
Yeah, do you have anything else you need to say?
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling a bit spooky.
Oh yeah, we haven't been spooky enough,
We haven't
right?
been spooky enough with all these aliens and these smashing machines and these good boys. We just got 2 new trailers for Frankenstein related projects. So the first one that we watched was Frankenstein, and the second one we watched is The Bride. Or just Bride. Is it Bride or The Bride?
I think it's The Bride.
The Bride. So we watched The Bride and Frankenstein. Let's talk about Frankenstein first. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Full trailer. We finally see Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein. I mean, by finally, you see like half his face. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it looks great. This gothic kind of, approach that Guillermo's taken, he obviously is one of the more defining voices in horror of the last several years. And the film looks really remarkable.
It
I
looks
love I
incredible.
love the set pieces. The production looks off the charts. The performances look exciting. We finally see Christoph Waltz in a shot too. I
For
noticed
like
that.
half a second, yeah.
Sure, but we see him and like we learn a little bit more about like Mia Goth and the role she's going to be playing in this film as
The
well.
makeup, the prosthetics.
The costumes. I mean, this could be one of my favorite films of the year, without a doubt. And the only thing I'm worried about, and I'll keep saying this, is if it will be available in a movie theater near me in its limited run before Netflix plops it on a streaming service.
Yeah.
Not to mention they're plopping it on a streaming service like November 3rd, right after spooky season ends.
Yeah.
Shame. What the hell? What
Come
the
on,
fuck,
dude.
Netflix?
I
I
know.
want to see this now. Like
Building up
I
to
want to
Halloween.
see
I
that.
want to
Yeah,
and it
building up
looks
to
actually
Halloween.
creepy as fuck.
It does, and that's the touch of Guillermo del Toro, and I'm so excited for this movie. It is one of the most anticipated for me this year for sure, and I'm just worried about it being a Netflix film. I hope it gets the runway it deserves in theaters in a wide enough release for everyone to see it, because when you watch these trailers, that's the takeaway, that this movie belongs on the big screen.
Yeah, and I don't know entirely what the plot is, obviously, but based on the trailer, before going into it, I really thought that Oscar Isaac, who's playing Victor Frankenstein, it's about him creating Frankenstein and the effects it has on the rest of the world. but it does seem like it's him creating Frankenstein and then Frankenstein's journey, Jacob Elordi's journey to hunt down Victor Frankenstein. So I really thought Oscar Isaac was going to be the main guy here, but there's a chance that I know it's called Frankenstein, that Frankenstein is the main guy.
Well, I don't. Hold on. Now you actually have me curious who they're technically pitching as. I'm pretty sure.
Oscar Isaac's name was first,
Oscar Isaac is technically the lead actor
but
of this film,
I
and
don't know. I think who do you think is the
But having seen-
protagonist though?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to imagine that the protagonist is still based on having seen other Frankenstein adaptations. It is Victor Frankenstein. He is always the protagonist.
That's why
in
I think they might switch it
Frankenstein.
up. I think it's going to be big
Maybe
old Frank is going to be the antagonist or protagonist.
But I think I'm still getting the vibes more of like even similar to the 1931 Frankenstein film, where it's very much like, you know, this dehumanization. Like I think they're gonna like I think he's gonna take on like the role of almost like an anti-hero, and that's almost like the monster in the Frankenstein story to me is a misunderstood character.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Didn't ask for life,
Yeah.
you know, and is very often just confused and scared. And the problem is that he is overpowered. And so like I can see them giving a human touch to Jacob Elordi's take, no doubt. Is he going to be the film's protagonist? I'm not confident that that's how we've had it pitched to us.
Okay, that's fair. I do think it's interesting. I mean, just a segue that we're getting two Frankenstein projects in the same,
Yeah.
length of time in a very.
I think The
close length
Bride
of
comes out in
time.
what, January or something
like that. So it's not the same year, but it's close.
Same like half
couple
year.
months.
Yeah.
And Christian Bale is playing Frankenstein in that one.
Right, but this is what. So I love this because this is obviously a Bride of Frankenstein movie. So the bride is being played by Jessie Buckley. She's the lead. Seeing Christian Bale take on Frankenstein's going to be cool. This one's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, you see Jake in a scene for like half a second.
Jake's going to be in it, and he's probably going to be hunting down. Or is he supposed to be Victor Frankenstein?
I don't know, because we never actually see anyone claim the name Victor Frankenstein, so maybe he is.
Right. So I'm not sure who he's supposed to be yet in this movie. But I like this one because this one has more of a like Cruella, like Gotham look to it, you know?
Well, it's set in 1930s Chicago, which is a crazy interesting plot.
All right, yeah.
Setting for Frankenstein.
I think that it kind of could fit though. Like I can see it being this like
mobsters
and kind of like mad scientisty kind of look at that time. Like it's a set a set period, so to speak. It's a time period. So I'm looking forward to this both. But which one do you think you're looking forward to more? I mean, probably Frankenstein, I guess, but we haven't seen as much of The Bride yet. That was really more of a teaser.
Yeah, I think I'd say Frankenstein just because of how cinematic it looks.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be like a spectacle and an event. But I think I'm going to enjoy it more, but I wouldn't be surprised if The Bride is honestly better. Like critics-wise and reviews-wise, but I think I'll enjoy Frankenstein more regardless.
That's fair. I can see a similar situation for myself, but I think they're both going to be really good. They both look great. And it is cool that we're getting so much Frankenstein stuff recently.
This is like we got Steve Jobs, man. Two Steve Jobs movies.
Lisa Frankenstein movie. I didn't see it. That came out last year. I heard mixed things, but still, it just seems to be like a revitalization of the character and those like that catalog, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Maybe Frankenstein's revitalized, but another franchise seems to be dead in the water. And that is one that neither of us are a really big fan of, but a lot of people are, so I wanted to just bring this up real quick. And that is Fast and Furious. Real quick, have you seen any Fast and Furious movies?
I've seen one, and it was the 7th movie.
I've seen one, and it was the most recent one, Fast X.
Well, that came out?
Like,
Oh,
a
shit.
couple of years ago.
Damn, okay. Alright.
So, apparently, executives at Universal are mulling over whether or not to make the final Fast and Furious film in the mainline franchise, unless there's a $50 million budget cut.
So, Fast X, wasn't that advertised as, like, the part 1, right?
It's supposed to be, this is supposed to be the ending
So,
of the franchise. It's supposed to be
but
like part 2.
but was that known that Fast X wasn't the last one, right?
Yeah, it was left on a cliffhanger.
Okay, so I mean, the budget has to be insane if they're asking for 50 million less.
And so it's funny you mentioned that. I pulled up a list comparing the Fast and Furious movies budgets to their box offices.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it went from being very profitable to the last movie being so barely profitable. Fast X had a ballooned. Oh, first of all, what do you think the budget of the first movie was?
I'm going to say it was very low. I'm going to go with 50 million.
Lower.
No way.
38.
Wow.
$38 million. The most recent one, Fast X, which came out 2 years ago, had a ballooned budget of $340 million.
How much
And
did it
that's
make?
production budget.
Well, how much did the first one make? On the 38 million.
The first movie worldwide made a little under 206.5 million.
That's great.
That's 2001.
How much did Fast X make on 340 million?
It made $714 million after it according to Universal, barely crossed the line into green.
That's barely double. I mean, 340. That's barely double.
And before anyone comes at us like they like to in the comments, these keyboard warriors, the 340, like I said, is just the production budget. That's not marketing. That's not theater costs. That's not what you're paying to your crew. Well, some of the crew, but not the cuts from the box office that the filmmaker would get or the actors would get. I'm sure Vin Diesel gets cuts from the box office. None of that includes that.
Yeah, there's millions that are not included in that 340.
So that is not a good return worldwide total. Its opening weekend, it made $67 million. $67 million on a $340 million production budget in its opening weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
that was its one of its lowest.
Fast and Furious has become a joke franchise. Everyone knows that. That is the franchise you talk about when you're like, how'd we go from doing this to this? It's like, how'd we go from racing cars in the street to going to space? You know, it's like I'm watching the Ice Age movies and I'm like, how'd we go from delivering a baby to its mom and now you're with a pirate fighting dinosaurs and now you're in space? Like, it's when a franchise gets so ridiculous that it's enjoyable, but it is stupid. That's Fast and Furious is the face of that idea.
I agree. I mean, I used to say that it's a money laundering scheme. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if some scandal came out that they were just using the Fast and Furious franchise to launder money. Because
like,
I just didn't understand how this was making money. Yeah, but apparently, there is reportedly no approved script, no release date, and most of the cast don't have contracts to return yet for the final film. This movie's probably not getting made. It would be the most Fast and Furious thing of all time if it ends on that cliffhanger, though. It would be so funny.
I think Vin Diesel will never be the same if this movie doesn't get made.
I don't know if he'll be able to get it. I know, but I don't know. He might not be able to get this one across the finish line.
Wow.
Might have pushed his luck a little bit with this franchise.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is pushing your luck because when you make a franchise so ridiculous, and I actually enjoyed the 7th one, but I remember watching it, and Vin Diesel has a line where he's like, you know, the thing about street fights is that sometimes the street fights back.
Yeah.
And he kicks the floor, and the concrete falls, and Jason Statham falls through. And I was watching, I was like, that's ridiculous that happened. And then 2 movies later, they go to space. And it's just like, what is happening to this franchise, man? You can
Yeah.
you could go bigger, you can go bolder, but you don't. It doesn't have to be ridiculous every time. Look at Mission Impossible. How each movie's bigger. It's a bigger spectacle. It's crazier shit happens, but it still makes sense in universe. Like, why is the government hiring Vin Diesel, who's like a streetcar racer, to do anything?
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think they could do a better job at telling a more cohesive story, but instead it's always been about the spectacle.
Yeah.
And, some people enjoy that, but to me, and I do enjoy that too, but it needs to come with a story like any other genre or any kind of film. And Fast and Furious drops the ball time and time again. And now it seems like they may not get to race through the finish line for their franchise. So
Were you planning on seeing the finale after you saw Fast X?
don't care. I mean, maybe, but I also don't care. Like, I only went because I was asked to go with people. If they asked me to go again, maybe for the hell of it, but
Maybe because
like,
you already saw that one. You might as well.
right, but I don't care. Like, if it
Gotcha.
doesn't come out, I have not lost any sleep over being like,
Yeah,
what's gonna happen? Ooh,
Oh no.
so that's that. And this will be this. Let's end this off with a little game again this week. How about that?
Sounds perfect to me, buddy.
Jack and I are gonna fill in each other's boxes right now.
Hey, yo, yeah, we are.
Hell
All right,
yeah.
cut the cameras. We need more props, man. We need so many
Dude,
props.
I'm gonna be the most irritable and annoying person with that in the history of
You're the most
people.
annoying person without that, so it's what else can it do?
All right, well,
My
fuck
bad.
you.
My bad.
Anyway, we're gonna play fill in the box. Basically, this is similar to the box office numbers. Jack and I are gonna go around each. I'm gonna give one to him, and he's gonna give one to me. We are gonna give a top 5 for movies for a random weekend in a random year, and the other person, based off those, has to guess which year it is, and then if even better, maybe what month or weekend they can get it in.
Yeah,
But
that's the real grand prize.
that
Getting
is
the
that
weekend.
is the grand prize. So I guess I know how we can decide who goes first. I feel bad he hasn't gotten a chance to do it himself in a while.
Let him
It's
out.
been
Let him out of his
Willie,
cage.
it's been Abe. He's barking. It's Marty. So
What up,
Marty,
Marty? What up, baby boy?
yeah, how you doing? I think he was just on a vacation not long ago, but he's pretty excited for Halloween. I don't know. Who should he dress up as for Halloween this year?
Probably Millard Fillmore.
Millard Fillmore.
Yeah.
Classic.
Classic costume.
If you
We've
don't
all
know,
been.
if you don't know, if you haven't been Millard Fillmore when you were growing up, it was like, oh, you could be Spider-Man, you could be Batman, or you could be Millard motherfucking Fillmore.
Did you even have a
goat.
childhood if you weren't him?
No, your parents didn't love you if they didn't tell you all about Millard Fillmore.
Facts. You call it.
So much president talk on this fucking show. All right.
Yeah, it's all your fault. You're the guy who comes with all the president props.
I know, but they're cool props.
Yeah,
All
they're
right. I'm gonna say heads because, like Jack said when he couldn't think of something, I like heads. Heads. Okay.
Yo, that was hilarious. It's funnier when I
Fuck
said it.
yeah.
Damn,
Heads.
it's always heads, man.
Thank you, Marty. All
So
right,
wait, does this mean I'm giving you yours?
No, I'm gonna give you yours first.
Oh, okay.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Which makes sense because you've never given me one yet, so I might as well get another one out of the way.
Okay, we'll
Warm
save
you
mine
up,
for
and
last.
then save the big one. You going for the first time for last. So, all right. Let me pull up because I just had a screenshot of it, and I want to have like the actual like weekend.
Okay, dumbass, you're not even prepared.
You fucking piece of shit.
Chill.
Jack, it's the year 1890. I'm spoiling it. When did
Yo,
you just... I had to like look what I actually was doing. I totally
you
forgot.
almost
Wait,
gave it away.
dude. I was like, "What's wrong?" And I realized it was in 2025 still. I just put it to the new year though. There
You're
we
like,
go.
and at number 1, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, dude. Can you
what weekend could it
guess?
be?
All right, thanks for bearing with us, folks. I got it up finally.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
In its in fifth place. Oh, but its fifth weekend. Look at that. In
Got
fifth
lucky.
place, in its fifth weekend of release, making $8.2 million, is The Proposal.
The Proposal.
Uh,
Ryan Reynolds
in
and Deadpool
fourth
Wolverine.
place, in its second weekend of release, making $8.3 million, is Bruno.
Okay, I'm lost so far.
Hold on.
All right, keep going. I'm just telling you my thought process.
In third place, in its fourth weekend of release, making $13.6 million, is Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay. All right, I got a year in my head.
In second place, in its third weekend of release, this might have been a kind of an easy one for you, making $17.5 million. Third weekend of release, $17.5 million. Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
I just watched that, but I don't remember when it came out. Okay. All right.
And in first place, in its opening weekend, making $77.8 million, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Was that the sixth one?
Yes, yeah. So you have a Transformers movie, an Ice Age movie, and a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to remember when the first Transformers came out. I want to say like 2005. I have a year in my head. I'm going to say 2007. And I'm going to say, what week was Ice Age?
Ice Age was in its third week.
And then what about Harry Potter?
That was its opening weekend.
I'm going to say this is the weekend of November 22nd of 2007.
No and no.
Damn it. Is it 2009?
It is 2009.
I was like, I didn't know when Transformers came out. So the first Transformers probably came out in 2007. The second was 2009.
Do you want to take one more stab at the month or weekend?
So it's not
now that
November?
you got the year? No.
Because I feel like it's got to be close to October then. I'm going to say the first week of October.
Wrong again, sir.
What is it? What do we got?
This was the weekend of July 17th through the 19th, 2009.
Harry Potter's coming out in July. What are we doing here,
it's
folks?
the summer. It's the summer season. You know, you had the 4th of July weekend 2 weeks before that. But interestingly enough, there was no, the only big releases that weekend was Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. And in third place that weekend, the Michael Mann film Public Enemies, starring Johnny Depp. So that was a holiday weekend, and I'm surprised Harry Potter didn't take advantage of that. But it was the summer season, and big movies come out in July, so I'm not terribly surprised.
All right, you ready?
I love this game. It's actually fun. I love picking.
This is your
I'm
first
ready.
one. This is your first time.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm always bad at this side of it.
Okay, so in fifth place, making $8 million in its third weekend of release, is Galaxy Quest. In fourth place, making $8.8 million in its third weekend of release, is Any Given Sunday. In third place,
Oh, he's such a bastard.
making $9.3 million in its third weekend of release, is The Talented Mr. Ripley. In second place, making $9.8 million in its fifth weekend of release, is The Green Mile. And in first place, making $11.2 million in its fourth weekend of release, Stuart Little.
All right, so this is... So you have Stuart Little... This has got to be like 1999, I think. I think it's... What weekend was Any Given Sunday in?
Third weekend.
Yeah, I think this is 1999. And I'm going to say What was second place?
The Green Mile in its 5th weekend.
So just repeat. All right, wait. Just repeat like the films.
Starting from 5th place, we have Galaxy Quest, Any Given Sunday, The Talented Mr. Ripley, The Green Mile, Stuart Little.
Could have been 97. I'm pretty sure it was. It could have been 2000 actually. And the crazy thing is, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like one of these came out in 99, so this could have been like a January thing. But movies don't really come out January. I don't think Stuart Little would come out in January. I'm gonna say September of 1999, and I'd just say like, I don't know, the second weekend. I don't really care about that part, but I'm gonna say September of 99.
You are incorrect on both.
Oh, all right.
Go year.
Is it 2000 then?
It is 2000.
All right, so it's 2000. So it's not September. Then I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. Then Stuart Little and its opening weekend might be like a spring or summer thing. I'm gonna say like June of 2000, like maybe the third weekend of June in 2000.
It's not in June.
Oh, all right. Well, I gave you two, so that's fine. What? I'll take the year. What was it?
It is the weekend. Oh, wait, you want to know the year?
Well,
Oh, wait,
I got the year. I caught the year.
Oh, yeah, my bad. It is the weekend of January 7th to January 9th.
It was
2000, which is my birthday weekend, and that's why I picked it.
It actually, first of all, of course. Second of all, it actually was January. I even was talking through that. That's crazy.
I know, you almost sniped it.
I was like, well, so one of those came out in 99 then. I think The Talented Mr. Ripley came out in late 99. How many weekends was that?
That was the third weekend.
Yeah, so that was like a late 99
The Green Mile
release.
was in its 5th weekend.
Yeah, wow. Dude, I almost sniped. I was like, I talked myself off that ledge.
Before we end this episode and go to the seesaw, let me ask you this, because I actually wanted to do your birthday weekend. Because apparently I was born on a Monday, and
I know, because I tried to do your birthday weekend once.
Oh, really?
When we first did this game.
And you saw that I was born
on a Monday, so I was like, oh, okay.
So you must have been born on a Friday.
I was born on a Friday.
So your birthday weekend sucks for movies, because I was like, he's not going to know any of this. But let's just see if you did. So in 5th place, it was Love and Basketball, then Where the Heart Is, then Frequency, then The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas in 2nd place. And number 1 is a movie called U571.
You know what's funny? The only reason I would have known it is because when I looked up your birthday weekend and found it was a Monday, I had then proceeded to look up my birthday weekend after. So I would have probably recognized. I mean, I didn't know it off the top of my head, but I would have probably picked up on it.
That's funny.
When you said it.
I was going to do yours, and I was like, this is too hard. Maybe I'll just do mine, because mine is Stuart Little and the Green Mile.
No, yours was great, because I also just watched Any Given Sunday last month.
Really? I didn't know that.
So it was actually really great with the clues, and I was like, some of these I think came out in 99, but then I was like, maybe. Then you said Stuart Little, and I was like, no, but that was like 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was so on the line with it.
That's funny.
That was great. So I love that game. If you guys want to see us keep playing it, let us know in the comments, and even if you don't, we're probably still going to play it anyway.
Yeah, we're going to do it the hell we want, but
we like doing it. But let us know, and we'll maybe take it into consideration. All right. What we will take into consideration is the last segment, which is Seesaw.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go first, because I went first for the game.
Okay, cool. Something that I saw, very highly anticipated, what everyone has been telling me to see, was K-pop Demon Hunters. This was really good. It was a lot of fun. Visually, it looked great, and the songs are all absolute bangers. They are so catchy, and the dance sequences combined with the fighting sequences, making it like a dual fight dance scene, was really cool and really creative. The story was pretty basic, but still had a good time watching it anyway, so I would recommend it. And that's not my type of movie on paper, but it's short, and I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it. Dude, I really think you would like it too. I think you would really enjoy it. So
how long is it?
It's like an hour and a half, like hour 28 or something. A lot of fun. So K-pop Demon Hunters was what I saw. Something I want to see is I've realized I'm missing out on a lot of good franchises, and our conversation about Alien is very telling of that. So I've decided that I'm gonna start watching a new franchise every month for the next couple months, starting with the Terminator franchise. I've only
Okay.
seen the first one long, long time ago. Don't even remember it. So I'm gonna watch the Terminator movies, even the shitty ones with Christian Bale and Emilia Clarke. Then I also have Alien on my list of movies I want to watch. I've only seen two of them. I've seen two Predator movies. That's on my list. I've heard the Bourne Identity movies are really good if you want to watch something similar to Mission Impossible. And I'm gonna put myself through it eventually. The Lord of the Rings. I've only seen in full entirety the second Hobbit movie, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, describing it as putting yourself through it is crazy. I'll say this, two things. One, in regards to Terminator, I've only seen the first two myself, but Terminator 2 Judgment Day, one of the best like action sci-fi movies that I think has ever been made, and certainly
That's what
one
I've
of James
heard.
Cameron's best. The first Terminator is fun, but the second one is an all-timer.
Yeah.
And another franchise that I'm going to ask you to eventually dip your toes in a bit is James Bond. It certainly has its ups and downs. It's not one you'll get done in a month. But even if you were to just do like Daniel Craig for
That's
now,
what I was gonna say. I might just stick with Daniel
or
Craig for
like
the
do
month.
like Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig because what's her face is in both Helen Mirren.
Oh, okay.
Or no, what the hell? Helen Mirren. I'm gonna Judy Dench. Judy
Oh,
Dench, not
okay.
Helen Mirren. I'm getting my old British ladies mixed up.
Yeah, that's got to be some sort of racist or something against British people.
Probably.
Yeah.
I apologize to the old British old white British lady fandom group. I don't know what I'm saying. It's been a long episode. But
I should watch James Bond.
you should watch James Bond. And even all of them. I mean, there's some really fun wacky ones. The Sean Connery ones have some really cool ones early on like
Yeah.
I mean, it's another franchise that I dipped my toes in for the course of 2 years. I watched one a month, and it was cool.
You got any other franchises off the top of your dome that you want to throw named out there?
Um, Not really. I mean, I don't watch a ton of franchises,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
like
do new
that.
month, new movie franchise. Like that's what I'm doing.
Not off
I'm
the
gonna
top of my head, but if I'll think of some, I'll give to you.
I'm gonna start it in November. Nah, fuck it. It's only the beginning of October. Maybe I'll start it soon because I really want to watch Terminator. So, but I actually no. Now we're getting me on Alien. I might start with Alien because it's
I was gonna
spooky.
say it's October. You might want to do
I
Alien.
might start with Alien. Plus, I've already seen two Alien movies.
You might want to do Alien.
So I'm only gonna
Yeah.
watch the movies that I haven't seen, also, unless it's been a while. So like I've seen Alien and Alien Romulus pretty recently, so I'm just gonna start with Aliens. Um, but yeah, so that's what I want to see. Just a shitload of movies.
I love that. No, that's great. I highly recommend a lot of those franchises. For me, um, Spook is in session, as we have made it very clear on this show. So something I saw recently to kickstart the season for me, I watched the iconic film, I'd never seen it, An American Werewolf in London, the John Hughes film that came out in 1981. Not John Hughes, John Landis. It really has been a long
You
episode.
can't remember a name to save your life today.
Dude, it's like you with time, but me with names
That's
today.
true.
It's
That's
just
real.
like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
John Landis. It's too many Johns, too many British
Too many
ladies.
Landises.
Uh, and it was starring David Naughton and Jenny Aguilar and Griffin Dune. That one, I know his name. I just don't know how to say it. But basically, it's about these two American tourists. They go to London. They get attacked by this animal. One of them is killed, and the other is now haunted by his dead friend, warning him that he is going to turn into a vicious werewolf himself and attack other people unless he kills himself. And the movie's really interesting because it actually is a balance of like horror with comedy. And, we've talked about that on this podcast in the past about how those go well hand in hand.
Yeah.
And this movie's another example of it. I had a lot of fun watching it. That's what the British get for taxing our goods. So you know what I mean? Fuck those guys. But yeah, no, it's a fun movie. I think it's a great one for this time of year. I'm glad I watched it. Nothing special, but a good one.
But
And
enjoyable.
something
Cool.
I want to see that actually I'm going to watch. This is the next movie I plan on watching for this month is called The Wailing. This is a movie, basically, it's an international film. It's about a stranger who arrives in a little village, and soon after, a mysterious sickness starts spreading. Policeman is drawn into the incident and is forced to solve the mystery in order to save his daughter. Apparently, it's terrifying. And so I am very interested in seeing it. It's not old. It came out in 2016. So I think that this could be a really cool film. It's a South Korean film, and I'm really excited to see it. Maybe talk a little bit about it next week. On Seesaw again, we'll see.
Yeah, maybe it'll be your
Uh,
saw.
but but yeah, right. Something I want to see. Well, I had saw it. Guess what?
Oh, that's cool, man.
So I'm
No,
excited.
you're really expanding your palette, you know,
Yeah,
with these
you know,
movies.
I mean, that's my thing. Like, you ask me, I can't even really think of the franchises off the top of my head. At least ones that I know you haven't seen, besides like Alien and shit. And Mad Max would be a cool one. That's one. There you
Oh,
go, Mad
yeah,
Max.
I'm adding it to the
Ah,
list.
and that's easy because there's only like 5 movies or something. But
Holy shit, there's 5? I thought there were 2, 3.
nah, dude, there's like 5. But I think that includes
Jesus.
Furiosa. Dude, oh come on, that's not a lot of movies.
Well, it's just a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, but over the course of a month,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's more like Terminator films, I think.
There's like 7 of them.
Yeah, um but yeah, you know me. I like to watch all kinds of things and all kinds of cinema from all around the world. I've been rewatching the original Universal monster movies recently too. I started doing those. So like I did, Dracula and Frankenstein, gonna do The Mummy next. Like I love this time of year and I love all kinds of movies, and that's why I like it, showcasing them on this podcast.
Yeah, you like watching all kinds of movies, and we like talking about all kinds of movies. And if you like listening to us talk about all kinds of movies, make sure you follow us on all platforms. We're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. We're at Box Office Dynasty. Share with your friends. Follow us on our letterbox that we mentioned earlier. Any closing remarks, Joshua?